Hey guys, welcome back. I'm Elmo,
I'm Tuna.
and this week we're going to be talking about the games in Game Week 11. Saturday 5:30, West Ham 1, Manchester United 3.
Yeah, West Ham taking a lead through Suek before Pogba, Greenwood, and Rashford scoring the goals for Manchester United to give them another away victory and another come from behind away victory.
Yeah, is this five away wins out of five? I think it is for Man United
Yeah,
so far this season, and I think it's
all
about 5 or 6
five.
games that we've come from behind.
It's definitely all five away games this season. It's now 9 away victories in a row in the league, which is the club record.
I mean, it's good to have these stats at the moment. I mean, everyone knows that Man United has gone through a bad year last year. Well, last few years, but there's been a lot of focus on Man United doing poorly this year. And I think when you look at the run of unbeaten games that we had from last season, we went, I think it was 17 games unbeaten or something like that in all competitions. Um, you know, we have been getting the results, we've been grinding the results out, but it's because Man United are expected to do a lot better that it just gets overlooked. This was definitely a game of two halves. West Ham looked good in the first half. Um, Jared Bowen and is it Fornal?
Yep.
Um, both of them players were fantastic in the first half, and they should have had a couple of goals.
Yeah, I mean, it's perhaps a harsh scoreline on West Ham because they had some big chances. They had a lot of chances that they perhaps should have taken. They hit the post in the first half, and a goal disallowed as well for offside correctly.
Yeah,
Um, Henderson had to make a couple of saves as well. And I mean, Ole rested a couple of players from midweek, and in the first half at least, it looked like that was backfired on him, and he'd taken this game too lightly. But as we've seen so often in games this season, including Man United, if you don't take your chances, they're going to come back and bite you. But he did take the lead. It was a corner that was flicked on from Declan Rice, and Suek just stabbing home at the back post, completely unmarked. Not great defensively. Two players that was watching him run in didn't bother
yeah.
tracking him. Um,
I think when you say resting the players, obviously we've got Leipzig this week, which is a huge game because I think we need at least a draw to go through into the knockout stage of the Champions League. And then next weekend is the derby against Man City, which is
yeah,
always a big game as well. So
I mean, this is what game three or no, I think it's game five now, isn't it? Of like 6 weeks in a row playing 3 times a week after the international break. So you can understand the need to use your squad. Uh,
and then next week, there's no Europa games, but we've got a midweek game in terms of Premier
Premier
League,
League.
and then
Yeah,
the week leading up to Christmas, Man United play Everton in the Carabao Cup. So I think the next 2 3 weeks for Man United is definitely going to hit them hard. Obviously, next week when everyone plays midweek, it's hitting all teams hard. But
yeah, the team's still in the Carabao Cup and in Europe as well. We've got it very tough this month. Who one person that had it tough was Haller, who did blindly to round the goalkeeper and then slipped when he had a chance to tap into an empty net. And you just can't be more unlucky. And if anything sums up West Ham and how I perceive West Ham, at least it's that.
yeah, like you say, West Ham were definitely unlucky to not have more than one goal in the first half. Allier, it was very unlucky. He'll have been fuming with himself for that slip. Obviously, not his fault.
Yeah,
Um, Anderson making his first Premier League start. David De Gea played midweek, but not not that confident, or maybe just wanted to rest a bit more. Like I say, we've got some big games coming up. But Anderson did quite well. He was unlucky with the goal, but he had a decent
yeah.
game.
I mean, he couldn't really do anything with the goal after the flick on, which was a fantastic flick on from Declan Rice.
Yeah.
Um, Ole perhaps, criticised midweek for failing to substitute players. This time brought on the perfect substitutions.
Well, it did last week as well, didn't it? And it brought on Cavani.
Cavani, yep.
Yeah,
And
I think
oh,
one player this week that played well. He played the 90 minutes and played well all game is Paul Pogba. Even in the first half, before we made the substitutions, there's been a lot of um, criticism for Pogba ever since he joined Man United, to be honest with you. But again, William being left out or being left on the bench for the last few games, there's been a lot of talk in the media and social media and everything like that. But he had a fantastic game. He tried to play the long balls to Cavani and things like that, but the second half brought on Rashford, brought on Fernandez, and that completely changed the game. I think it was Martial and Cavani that went off. It wasn't that they had a bad game. Oh no, it was Van der Beek. Sorry, Van der Beek and Cavani went off. It wasn't that they had a bad game. I just think they was just unlucky. But
yeah,
it definitely changed when Fernandez came on. Fernandez, ever since he's come, I don't think he's had one. He had that one bad game, but he still ended up scoring 2 goals. But he wasn't brilliant in terms of some of the mistakes that he made.
I mean, that's a pretty good tie-in. Say Fernandez come on, did pretty well. And you were saying about Pogba being fantastic in the first half, and well, he scored a fantastic goal as well to level it up.
Controversial
Uh,
goal.
yes, whether the ball went out of play or not from Henderson's long ball downfield. VAR did take a look at it, but I believe the only camera angle we really got was behind the goal, and you just couldn't see at
Yeah,
all.
so it was kind of like behind the goal, and it was facing towards the dugouts. On Match of the Day, they did get like a computer simulation to show that it did go out. But obviously, VAR hasn't got that technology. I'm sure Moyes is wanting sideline technology as well as goal line as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think Moyes probably gonna be strapping a camera to the top of his head now going forward, showing him them replays.
I
He
think
was
my criticism on
glorious.
this was the linesman. The linesman, yeah, you've got to be keeping up with the play, and he was running forward, but the linesman should have been watching whether that went out. That's his job.
Yeah, I mean, I think he was checking for offside, but it's the first thing you look for is the ball in and out. That's your
But
biggest.
but can't linesmen like multitask then? Can they only look at one decision at a time?
I mean, you can't be looking that way and you're looking that way, can you really? So, but what
I,
baffles me is the fact that VAR doesn't have cameras on all lines.
it,
That's
it it
bizarre.
it seemed to me that the VAR was using a camera from the broadcasters rather than their own VAR
Yeah.
cameras to actually see if it went out. And again, they couldn't see.
And
Um,
it's something that we had a couple of years ago in the Champions League. There was a goal disallowed or a penalty given, something like that. And VAR said they didn't have conclusive evidence. And then BT was showing like camera angles that VAR didn't have access to, which is baffling. But yeah, again, no conclusive evidence. And as I say, a fantastic goal from Pogba.
yeah, like I say, a fantastic ball, clearance ball, whatever, from Henderson to Fernandez. Fernandez kind of got the ball, ran inside and passed it to Pogba. Fantastic strike from Pogba. They're the goals that you used to see all over Twitter when he used to play for Juventus. The goals from outside box, fantastic
First
strike.
time curling
Yeah,
round the defender as well. And to be honest, perhaps a bit unlucky from Fabianski because he did get a touch to it as well.
yeah.
Considering his view was blocked by a player and he had to get across his goal.
I think it was
Perhaps
just
lucky,
too
but
powerful.
yeah, the strike was perfectly placed and exactly what you need to get your team back into the game. And then followed up 3 minutes later by another fantastic goal and a young lad who's had a lot of criticism this season. Some rightly so, but I mean, he's a young lad being a young lad, so it's nice to see him back on the score sheet, especially from an English point of view.
Definitely, I think for me, he's probably one of the best strikers of the ball at Man United. We've got Rashford and we've got Martial. I'm not taking it away from them, but as a
He's
striker of the ball, Greenwood is up there, and he's still young. He's still
he is
got a
someone
lot
that
to
is a
learn.
natural goal scorer. He
Yeah,
doesn't have to train his finishing; it just comes naturally to him.
and I think this is kind of what pissed me off, and this is where I criticised Southgate a few weeks ago because it's the likes of Greenwood and Foden that you need to be treating better. That's what you need to be managing them better. And I don't think he managed them as well as what he should have done. And with how he did manage them, that then brought the criticisms from the media. And then, obviously, as soon as the media get involved, then that's when it makes everything worse. But fantastic. I think it was Tellez who crossed the ball in. Greenwood were kind of like facing away from goal, but his first touch to just bring it in the right direction and uh, put it back in
Yeah,
there.
a sort of like a little touch to dink it over the goalkeeper, the defender's foot who was challenging him. I mean, the ball was behind him as well. It was full stretch, and it was a Bergkamp-esque touch.
Yes, yes, definitely.
A fantastic finish. And perhaps at one point you did wonder, did he make the wrong decision? Because Mata was lining up a shot right behind him. But as
Yeah.
soon as you saw that touch, you just knew.
I mean, I think Greenwood or Mata, either one of them, because there weren't anyone around Mata either. Mata was in plenty of space, so I think if Greenwood did leave it and it gone to Mata, I think it still would have been a goal. I'd have had confidence in that. But again,
Just
fantastic goal. Fantastic play from Man United, and then 10 minutes later, 3-1 up. Mata puts Rashford through with a great pass. Again, just a fantastic pass. And Rashford, a couple of minutes before this, he did have a one-on-one and kind of hit the post. But this
yeah,
one, he made no mistakes.
sort of exact same, just on the other side of the pitch. Great ball
Yeah,
through.
and just dinks it over the keeper.
Yeah. First one he rolls onto the post, but they say second time no mistakes at all. Just a little dink over Fabianski, who did come out again, perhaps a little bit unlucky from him. He got sold very short by his defenders, and I mean Rashford's not going to miss two like that in a row, is he? So,
No.
and
Uh,
it's perhaps a bit harsh on West Ham, and especially Fabianski, who did have a pretty good game. So when you concede three, it looks a lot worse on him. But see, Man United comeback kings this season, especially away from home.
Yeah, obviously West Ham had 2,000 fans in as well. It was the first game of the weekend that had fans in. I'm sure they're gutted as well that they didn't take away any points. Like I say, they deserved it. Um, the scoreline doesn't reflect how good the game was and how good West Ham was. Um,
Yeah, I mean, Man United have now won more points from losing positions than any team in Premier League history. It's 385 points they picked up from losing positions now, which I think is just under a third of Man United's total points tally in the Premier League era, which is bizarre and also shows the effect Ferguson had. And it almost seems like that sort of ruthlessness and bounce back ability, to use Klopp's word from last season, is back.
yeah, and I think Ollie kind of took that from Fergie playing under Fergie as well, and it's the Man United way. You don't give up fighting. I think that's the thing. It's it's the mentality to be behind and not let your head drop and just completely crumble. You go behind, whether it's 1 goals or 2 goals like last weekend. You come back, you keep fighting because at the end of the day, until the ref blows the final whistle, the game's not over, and it could be won at any moment.
Yeah, I mean, they're also only the second side in Premier League history to score two or more away goals in 9 consecutive games since Leeds in 2001.
So, I mean, being a Man United fan, I give a lot of people stick. I give you stick. I give Arsenal fans stick, Chelsea, and everything like that. But and I get it back in return, and I expect it. But I think all the stick that Man United have had over the past few months, we haven't played that well. We have lost games that we shouldn't have. But you just look at the stats, and we're not doing as bad as what everyone keeps making out that we are doing. We're just not up there winning the leagues like we used to for so long. And we was hated because we used to win the league pretty much every other year. But now we're not even challenging for the title. We're still hated just as much.
I
But
mean, one thing I will say about you this season and Ole this season, his biggest job is you've won 6 games, but only 1 has been at home.
yeah,
And it's that home form that's really letting you down. It is sort of the opposite of what you expect, isn't it? You know, your home a fortress, and away you sort of try and pick up points here and there,
it's,
but
it's like in
it's the opposite
Champions
way
League.
around at the moment.
It's like in Champions League. We went to PSG and we won 2-1. But if you look at the stats and you watch the game and look how we played, we absolutely torn PSG apart. But then when PSG came to Old Trafford, we lost our heads. It's weird, but that win. I think we was like 9th, 10th before that win, but that win took us up to 5th on 19 points. Last 6 games we've won. Well, the last 4 games we've won all 4. Last 6 games we've won 4 games. So hopefully that can keep going. But we've got a tough month. Not just how many games that we've got, but the teams that we're playing as well. I believe it's obviously we've got Leipzig tomorrow. We've got Man City at weekend. I think we've got Sheffield United, Leeds United, Everton in Carabao Cup, Leicester, Wolves. I think only one game out of all that is easy, and that's Sheffield United. But that's just because of the form that they're on. They could
And you know
turn
they're
up
going to
at
beat
any
you now you've
moment.
said that.
Well, that's the thing. They could turn up at any moment against any team and just pull out a shock.
Yeah, I mean, we've got 22 days left, virtually, games this month, and in that you've got 7 games to
Mm.
play. So that's what, every 3 days on average you've got a game. So big month for Manchester United.
And this is where if we had an injury to the likes of um, Rashford or Fernandez or anything like that, and obviously we've got an injury to De Gea at the moment. It's been announced today that Martial and Cavani are missing Leipzig because of injury. So all the games mounting up, the big games as well, and we need a full squad, full fit squad, and it's going to be tough. If we can come out and if we can go into the new year in the top 5, top 6 with all the games that we've got, I think that's a very good month for us. I'm not looking forward to it. Thanks for watching our videos. Hope you've enjoyed them. Please subscribe if you want to watch the rest of our season, where we'll be bringing you all the matches, our predictions, and plenty of other things surrounded around football. Please follow us on our socials. They're all down below as well. We've got our own YouTube channels as well. Please go and check them out. Plenty of different kind of content across all them as well. I've been Elmo.
I've been Tuna.
Take care.